Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction or read through for Kubera chapters 78, 79, and 80. Should be doing those three, and then I'll do the last three chapters of The Night It Rained Fire next week, and then after that I guess I'll maybe do some reviews. I don't know if I'll do some reviews, if I'll do the reviews and the read-throughs both. I don't exactly know 100% what I'm going to do yet, but I want to do some reviews whenever we're done with The Night It Rained Fire. I've loved Kubera so far. I've loved this arc so far. This arc's been really, really good. And I know I've said it before, where I talked about how Kubera's fan base was really inviting and welcoming and just a really cool, really good fan base. Just one of the best I've encountered so far. But something else that I was thinking about over the past week as I've just, from the outside looking in, seen a bunch of other people talking about Kubera. When I am, from the outside looking in on a lot of other series that I cover, I always see people saying things like, for some of the older series I cover, it's like, this isn't as good as when I first got into it, or it's gone downhill a bit, or there are parts I like and parts I don't like. But even just from the outside looking in, Kubera's fan base just seems really passionate and appreciative of Kubera. And it's really cool, because it's almost like the opposite of something that I've seen a lot, where there are a lot of times where I'm gatekept. I get prohibitive feelings towards a series when I'm like, wow, this is really nice, but I don't want to interact with its fan base because they sound terrible. I mean, say, Jujutsu Kaisen. I did season 1, I really enjoyed it. I plan to do season 2, I plan to continue to make videos and stuff. But when you look at that from the outside looking in, I don't know if it's because it has a fan base that skews younger, a fan base that skews towards, I have always hated terms like this, but the lowest common denominator, normie type of fan base, the tourist fan base, and maybe that's why it looks so toxic, looks so awful, and makes you like, I don't want to interact with that, honestly. But I felt that with a lot of things. I think that Baldur's Gate 3 looks like a really fun game, but there are times when I'm like, do I really want to check this out? Because all of the discussion I see from fans from the outside looking in is like really annoying, and I'm like, oh god. But Kubera just seems like the opposite of that. I so often see fan bases that make me not want to watch or read or play whatever they're fans of, but Kubera's fan base is the opposite. They just seem so appreciative and loving towards the series that it's like, wow, they make a good first impression for the series. They really make you want to see what it's about and get into it. And I just feel like, again, me being somebody who's been seeing things from the outside looking in, that's something that is kind of different from what I felt about other series, even series that I myself love. So I just wanted to say that, and I guess there's not too much to say before we continue reading. We are just still straight in the middle of everything that's going on. One thing really quick before we start, I have chapter 78 up here and all, and that's the chapter of season 1, but it's like number 79 overall if we're counting chapter 0, and that got me wondering, once I get into season 2, how should I do these on screen? Should I change it to say season 2 chapter whatever on screen as we're reading? Should I go by the overall number? What's the most common way to do things? What's the best way to do things? I think that you all would probably have a better idea of that than I do. So just let me know if I should put season 2 whatever, season 3 whatever, while we're reading. Once we get to seasons 2 and 3, just let me know, because honestly, we're not too many weeks away from hitting season 2, I don't think. It's somewhere, I used to think it was around 80, but that's Tower of God. That's 80 in season 1. I think season 1 of Kubera is 100. So again, yeah, not too many, not a crazy amount of weeks before we hit that, if we do at least 3 a week. But yeah, either way, that's it for the intro. Let's go ahead and start reading chapter 79. Also, last time when I was editing, so before, when I was doing things on the old setup, the filter over it, I had it 75% opacity for everything. And for this, like when I got the new filters made and everything, I went from 75% opacity all the way down to 42%, and it looked fine on Tower of God, it looked fine on Omniscient Reader, but on Kubera it was kind of a little bit hard to follow along. It was kind of still a little weird, and I even got one comment saying, hey, maybe you lower the opacity a little. And yeah, when I was editing too, I thought it was kind of different. It looked weird. So I lowered it from 42 to 33, and maybe that'll help a little bit. But yeah, either way, let's start reading chapter 78, or episode 78. Alright, we're starting off with Sagara. What the hell? She went up into flames all of a sudden. What happened? Did she... it just hit me. Oh yeah, Agni's back. Did her summoning spell actually work? No, that's impossible. Last chapter ended on like such a crazy note. She doesn't have enough life left to summon. But if not Agni, what is that fire that isn't going out? Alright, chapter 78, The Night It Rained Fire, 15. Agni. What's with that face? He's looking at me as if Am I dead? Am I? Is that it? I see. I'm dead. I knew you wouldn't answer to my call, considering how mean I was to you. But I see that you came to see me after my death, since we used to be friends once. Am I going to hell now, because I committed the sin of disrespecting a god? Well, if you'd been destined for hell, I could have waited instead of going through all this trouble. You should have lived a more evil life. If you were more evil, my life would have been much easier, and you wouldn't have had to suffer like this. Let me ask you one thing, Brilith. Do you have the desire to live? What? Of course And her face is clearing up. Huh? That's strange. It feels like nothing matters anymore, and I keep thinking that I want to rest. What's wrong with me? Do I really need to live? I can't remember anything. What was I doing? That's because when your time comes to pass, you leave everything behind. In some cases, there are people whose obsession grows even greater after death, but that doesn't seem to be the case for you. It's impressive that you lived your life on responsibility alone. Anyway, then it can't be helped. I shouldn't save you if you don't want to live. I should leave now. Hold on. I just can't remember. Can you just wait for a minute, please? I can't die like this. I'm sure I didn't want to die. I really can't remember anything. This is so frustrating. What was I doing just a moment ago? What kind of person was I? And it's interesting that, like Agni said, some people's obsessions grow greater after they die, and you would think that Brilith, somebody who is so wholeheartedly been so crazy about her position as priestess and keeping everyone safe and fulfilling this role of being the person who summoned a god and keeping the barrier up and following in the footsteps of her mother in a way, that somebody who lived her life so devoted to these things, instead of being more obsessed after death, is so easily in this moment of dying kind of letting it go and freeing herself. Who was by my side? And she sees the crowds and their faces start to come into more focus, and we see that it's actually people she knew in her life. I don't know. I can't remember anything. Nothing that... And then out of all the crowd of all these characters we've seen, we have Asha at the center. Look at you. You've fallen behind again. If you keep falling behind, I'm going to leave you behind. And her eye opens. I remember. Yeah? What is it? I can't remember exactly who, but there was someone important to me. The last time we parted ways, I don't think I was being honest with her, so I need to see her. She can't be left alone. If someone doesn't hold on to her, she'll disappear. Is that not enough? I can't remember anything else besides that. It's okay. That'll do. Nothing else matters, as long as you have the desire to live. So, this almost does feel like a test from Agni. Like he really was telling the truth in that, she isn't evil, so she can't go to hell and hang out with him in his domain or whatever. But it's like, and we still don't know 100% how the afterlife works, but we're seeing this tiny little glimpse into it. But it felt like he did actually need an answer for her. That if she didn't have a reason to live, he couldn't keep her with him and he couldn't save her. If she was letting go, he had to let her let go. But if she finds a reason, if with her memories fading she can think of something, it seems like he may have needed that in order to have the excuse to save her, to let her live. So now that she has thought of something, it seems like he's going to be able to let her live. And I actually think a lot of people complain about, what is it? Amnesia. I was about to say insomnia. Amnesia plot lines. A lot of people dislike them. But honestly, truth be told, I feel like this would be an interesting way of doing an amnesia plot. So basically, let's say that Brilith comes back here but doesn't have her memories. Her hair is short now. It would be cool to see kind of like this new second Brilith getting a second chance. Instead of just going back to doing what she was doing before, seeing somebody who, like I mentioned earlier, lived her whole life for this thing of protecting everybody, seeing what she does with a second chance, with a new, opportunity at freedom, maybe. It kind of makes me wonder how that would be if she doesn't just get her memories back here. And Sagada's seeing what happens within the flames? No way. This can't be happening. It's more of a shock to me that you're here, Sagada. She shouldn't have had enough lifespan to summon you, and the god of death is the one who controls life, and death was actually pretty strong. I almost ended up being stuck in hell for 10,000 years. You're fucking crazy. I see your mouth is still as foul as ever, but isn't it about time you figured out the situation and started running? Run? Me? In your dreams, why would I? Riagara, Pingara. And she summons both of them to her side. They have their eyes closed, which means I can't use insight on them. I see Sagada warned them about this. That's the god, Agni. He was the biggest cause of worry for our mission until now, but that's only when the summoner is healthy. And now that Agni is here, that again brings up the question I was talking about last time with when does Gandharva get here? Biggest cause of worry for our mission until now, but that's only when the summoner is healthy. A god in the human realm can only use transcendental skills by drawing upon the summoner's vigor, but that priestess has almost no vigor left. Gods may have the advantage in the human realm, but they're nothing without their transcendental skills. During the attack, and I wonder again if this is a translation issue, if transcendental skills are only a Shura thing, and it should be a different terminology for the god skills, but for now I'm just rolling with it. During the attack on the 10th month, Gandharva defeated Agni by depleting the vigor of his summoner first, which prevented Agni from using his transcendental skills. Of course, Gandharva had an advantage when it came to attributes, but I have Rakshasas, so I'm in much better of a position than Gandharva was in. Don't think too much about it. If you two attack together, you can take him out easily. If we kill Agni here, it'll take many years for him to resurrect himself, so we won't have to worry about him for a while. Don't you think you're being too confident? If her vigor's depleted, I can just use her lifespan. Don't try to play with me. You're only here because you postponed the price for the summoning. That priestess has no life force to spare at all. The god of death doesn't even care for the plea of primeval, for the plea. Okay, I thought they were using some sort of word for a group of something, but they're saying no for primeval gods pleading. So the god of death doesn't even care for the plea of primeval gods. That's weird. You would think if they're primeval gods, they wouldn't really need to worry about this. But I guess the primeval gods can still die. It almost feels like maybe they'd be immortal or like they would have to resurrect after an amount of time. But no, apparently they can't, postpone their death. So I'm sure he isn't going to help you. And if she has enough lifespan for you to use, you shouldn't have told me to run away. In addition to that, you said you almost got stuck in hell, right? So I'm guessing you killed the god of death because he refused to listen to your favor, killing one of your own for some human girl. You're ridiculous. You may delay the price of the summoning, but what's the use when she's going to die soon anyway? Do you think that your obvious bluff would scare me away, when I can clearly tell by your act that you have no more cards to play? Hey, hold on. Not everything's a bluff. She isn't completely out of vigor, so it's different from the fight with Gantarva. See, I can even do stuff like this. Stop messing around with fire. And we're cutting to Brilith's perspective. I remember now. I'm the priestess of Atera, sure as we're attacking the city that I was supposed to protect. Even if I was at the brink of death, how could I have forgotten this? If death is enough to make me forget everything, what does the position as priestess mean to me? Everybody believes in me, but I lost my way. In addition to that, I couldn't fulfill my duties as the priestess. If I didn't use magic, Agni could have fought properly. This is all because of me, because I used magic when I didn't even know it was going to work. Brilith, it's okay. We can win. Don't worry so much, and just relax. A human's vigor replenishes faster when they're happy. Huh? But how am I supposed to be happy in a time like this? I'm worried sick. What makes him so confident? And then we have the bang, and Lorraine is bursting in with the staff. Damn it, catch the girl who just came in, quickly! That staff must never get to Agni. To be continued. Okay. So the staff might actually be pulling towards him. Okay. And I wonder then, so basically Agni's cover as Idioty Smith is pretty blown at this point. So he's going to just have to openly be a god and use god powers if he wants to save them here. And it seems like he does. And it seems like he is openly, because if he did kill the god of death or whatever, he is openly just like, okay, I'm doing all of this for Brilith. Okay, either way though, a lot to think about, but a lot to continue onward with, so let's move on to the next chapter. And the next chapter starts with Elaine, move priestess, and then stumbling through, being pulled along by the staff, it seems like. God, my glasses almost got shaved into my face. Is this staff trying to kill me? Anyway, priestess, it's a relief that you're alright. And then she notices Pingara and Riagara. Hoti Brahma. And we have the force field put up. Forget it. Both of you get back. We can't win here. Chapter 79, The Night It Rained Fire, 16. And we still have 4 more parts after this, so there's still a lot that's going to be happening. Wow, priestess, you were fighting those things? How scary. Anyway, take this staff. I'm worried if you'll be able to use it, because you probably never used it properly, but... Huh? Give it here. It'd be better for me to use it than Brilith right now. I'm guessing you figured out who I am, so no explanations are necessary, right? I'm very sorry that I made it look weird. And she hands it over. That's fine. It was only a stick when I first made it. Who cares what it looks like? I only use it as a medium anyway. And it turns from a staff to a chain. Lorraine, are you telling me that this is the staff of Agni? How come it looks so different from what I gave you? Sorry. I promise I'll change it back to what it looked like next month. Did you already know about the god? Well, I was almost certain by looking at the state of the closed space and what you were saying. I'm sure I'm not the only one who expected this. After the last attack, Roosh was pretty sure that the closed space being weakened meant that the god was here, and not anymore. But still, everyone stayed quiet because you didn't say it yourself, and thought you had your own reasons. Okay, so that makes sense that people who are, like, talented or powerful magicians would have been able to tell that after the last attack, the closed space now is different So even if they didn't know that she had actually summoned a god and that it wasn't actually her holding the closed space up, even if they hadn't figured that out before, by the time seeing how it's changed now, like she said, Roosh was probably like, okay, so the god was probably here holding it up before, and now it's not here anymore. It's still a surprise to actually see him, even though I was guessing he would be here. Because he's a god, his face and body are... Lorraine. Yeah, sorry about that. Wow, they ran away really fast. That means I called my weapon for nothing. What should I do, Brilith? Should I just let them run away or go after them and kill them? What? It would be best to go after them if we want to prevent this from happening again, but doesn't the thing you're holding use up vigor? I don't have much vigor left, so you won't be able to fight for long. It's okay. Vigor can be replenished. Okay, so that was her giving her entire idea there. That's easier said than done. It's easy. Your vigor was drained when you summoned me, but it's replenishing at a rapid rate. You must be really happy that I came, Brilith. Huh? That's, of course, in a situation like this, I should be happy to see you. Anyway, will my vigor replenish fast enough for you? No, it would be better if it replenished faster. And he kisses her on the cheek. The single, tiny Lorraine panel. That's strange. It always worked when you were little. Is this not enough now that you're older? I feel like you're going to hit me if I do any more, and then hit anyway. I'm going to hit you even if you don't. Good. There are side effects, but it's working. What are you talking about? There's no way this would replenish my vigor. Stop messing around. Sorry for hitting you. Want me to show you how much vigor you have now? And then we have the flames heating up as he creates this dragon? Phoenix thing? And we're cutting over to Mara and Azai, seeing it from a distance. Damn it. What have those snakes done? Thanks to them, I can't be here anymore. Where are your eyes wandering off to? We get Kasak. Oh? Okay, so he was able to avoid getting hit. And instead of hitting his face, it just carved out a chunk of his wing from the invisible attack. You're fast for sure. I was aiming for your head. I'll hear about Kalavinka the next time we meet. I left that human girl in the forest behind us. And then we have Kasak creating a ring. How foolish. I can dodge your attacks all day. It would be best to stop while I'm being nice. Why would someone with such confidence run away? You were bragging about how old you were. Are you scared now? You chicken head. What an annoying dragon. If you didn't know about Kalavinka, I would have already killed you. I'm the one who should be saying that. Dragons know how to get angry too. You've been acting so cocky from earlier. Before comparing age, let your skills do the talking. You should really just give it a rest. If you use that attack, only the girl in the forest behind me will die. That isn't for you to worry about. And he sends the attack. That bastard. Okay, is somebody else coming in? They both take notice. You both are being hostile for no reason. How about you both stop acting like children and stop this? And it's some sort of horse. Oh, from the hair, is this Shess? Because of the pink hair? Or this might... At first I was thinking it would be like somebody big. But I think it might just be Shess. Okay, how about you both stop acting like children and stop this? But either way, let's figure out next chapter. Again, really, really good. I like Agni and Brilith a lot. I really like Lorraine, even though she was just comedy relief this chapter. Sagata and the others are running, but we still have chapters left of this. We still need to figure out what the... Especially if this is Shess arriving, it means Guntarv is going to be here. And we have a lot of things to wrap up in terms of the character relationships. I feel like Agni and Brilith is really well developed, but we already kind of know their relationship quite a bit. More so, we need to see how all of this affects Agwen and Kasak, how all of this affects, really importantly, the deal in the relationship with Agni and Gandharva. Is Agni going to be cool with Gandharva seemingly breaking his promise? But really it wasn't Gandharva so much as Marana and the others. So, we'll have to see what happens there. But again, let's move on to next chapter for now. I just think that stuff is going to be really key to see. Chapter 80 starts with this. It just says Inferno. Yeah, this is a little bit of a different bit of scenery. Phew, this place is pretty quiet. Should I find a spot and lay down? Agni's weapon should be somewhere around here. This area is perfect for it. Huh? What are you doing here? No wonder the gates of hell are so packed. Your subordinates seem to be struggling with their workload. Why don't you get back to work? So is this... So Inferno then, you know, this is hell, I guess, maybe. And then is this the god of death that got sent here? The gates of hell are so packed. Your subordinates seem to be struggling with their workload, so why don't you get back to work? No thanks. Some of us have to work without even getting a second of rest, while others just laze around all day and go off to date his girl. What kind of division of roles is this? Okay, I'll take care of things for now, so come back if you get bored. Okay, the gods and the gods having subordinates is really an interesting concept. The division of powers is also very interesting because, again, it's like, how are gods born, really? And if you're a god from the beginning, is it just decided you're just born into existence and it's like, well, I guess I'm the god of fire. Like if you're Agni, well, I guess I'm the god of fire. I have to do all of this fire stuff. And I guess when I'm not being fire, what do? And it's like, you're the god of death. It's like, I was just born. I was just created out of nothingness to be the god of death. And now I have to deal with all of this sorting out people into the underworld business. It is kind of unfair. Is it something that like all the gods were even at first and then they had to decide on roles? Or if it's pre-decided, then it's like, oh, like if it's pre-decided, it's like, oh, you might get a really good draw or a really bad draw. Sort of like in the Disney Hercules where it's like, if you're Hades, it's like, even though he's the villain, you can kind of get how you get that way when it's like, crap, everybody else is just up partying on Olympus and I have to be Hades? I have to be like in charge. I have to work all day every day in the underworld, and it's much the same here if this is the god of death. It's like I have to work all day. And so like if they have subordinates, are the subordinates like also gods, but they're like lesser gods, under gods? I guess we did already hear about the 5th Zen gods. So I guess maybe the subordinates are like 1st Zen gods or something. But either way, I'll continue. I'll take care of things for now, so come back if you get bored. One is busy with women, and another is on strike. You guys are too secular for the enlightened beings. By the way, seeing how Agni's weapon is gone, I guess his courtship isn't going to be peaceful this time either. What a weird guy. He has a load of goddesses head over heels for him, so why is he going through all that trouble? Now we have Chapter 80, The Night It Rained Fire 17. Seems that the ones who were in the city have already escaped. But I took care of the ones waiting outside of the city, just in case the small fries try to attack while I'm gone. Things will be troublesome if my dear priestess collapses after rashly using up her vigor again, right? I'll be back very soon, so don't worry and be optimistic. That's how you can help me. Okay then, time for the snake hunt. And he takes off. Same old Idioty Smith. He doesn't seem angry at all. I really thought it was... Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming they mean thought. I really thought it was because I was so rude. If that wasn't the reason, why did he leave? I was the only one being in the dark, and misunderstanding. The only one being worried, and the only one being sad. Excuse me, priestess? He's said to be optimistic. What's with the long face? Aren't you going to replenish your vigor for the god? I may look like this, but I'm thinking optimistically. Really? Anyway, this is amazing. You summoned a god. There's so much I want to ask, but with the city in this state, cleaning up comes first. The help from the other cities will arrive after the hour of wind, but before noon. As long as they're not dead, we can heal them, so stop worrying too much. She's trying to console me. Thank you, Lorraine. You're really... To tell you the truth, I'm so envious of you. What? Did she save the universe in her past life or something? I'm so jealous. And we see the sun rising. Shess? How come you're here? Didn't you say you weren't going to get involved in attacking the humans? Of course, I'm just here for my delivery duties. Delivery? You don't mean... You're probably right. Madana is probably in trouble. I told him everything. But right before the arrival, he said he would go by himself and left me. What? You bastard. You know well what kind of position I would be in if you do this, and yet... Instead of wasting your time here, wouldn't it be best to be begging for his forgiveness? Honestly, Shess might kind of be like Agni and Brilith, kind of MVP, but Shess might be, in the long run of things, the overall MVP, just by not fighting to begin with. Just invited here to go and have this fight and everything, but instead of doing it, he goes, finds Gandharva, and brings Gandharva back. In the, long run, he may have been MVP for this whole arc, despite not being here for almost any of it. If you waste any more time, things may become irreversible. Or does it not matter to you? The alliance between your three tribes seems close to dissolving now that the founders are no longer present. Okay. Bullshit. It wasn't my fault to believe that you would stay out of this, because your clan was neutral. If things go south, I'll kill you first. I get it. So hurry and get going. And then he takes off. Do you think I'm a pushover? Do you really think I'll just stay by and watch? And Kasak is still just on the attack, fully. We have a crack from Shess's hoof. That's enough, Kasak. You know you can't beat me with the amount of vigor you have left. Or do you need me to give you a beating, like the good old times? Damn it. Your clan's neutral. Why are you siding with him? Does it look like I'm on his side? I take that offensive. Shess, don't move a muscle. There's a person behind us, so watch your feet. Oh, and Agwen is up. We have the sun rising and birds chirping. The flames traveling with Agni. They're much weaker than before. I can block them right now. Okay, and Ryagara is blocking. That looks like the fire snake, which is transcendental skill of Vasuki. Did I see wrong? No, you saw correct, although Vasuki uses 9 snakes. I have heard that God Agni could copy any fire attack, but to see him use Vasuki's transcendental skill, he could have used so many other skills, but to have chosen that one when we're a part of Vasuki's tribe, how disgusting. The gods pretend to be so kind and just, but their true colors are the exact opposite. That's why even the primeval gods choose not to stand on their side. Okay, so the primeval gods and the gods are two completely separate things. You and Pingara should go on ahead, Sagara. And that also seems like the kind of things where primeval gods might have an alternate translation in order to separate the two as terminology. You and Pingara should go on ahead, Sagara. I can somewhat resist the heat, so I'll be able to stall Agni while you get to safety. No, Ryagara, you aren't strong enough of a match against Agni. That plan is almost impossible, and it's likely that you'll get killed. But someone has to stall Agni, or we'll all end up dying here. Oh, really now? Then I'll do it. You guys go on without me. What? What are you talking about, Sagara? This is the human realm, not the Shura realm. You may be stronger than Agni in the Shura realm, but here... You're right. Here. I'm not strong enough to defeat you guys, much less Agni. I'm well aware, so no further explanations are necessary. Then you should be the first one escaping. Again, Sagara, and I think Ryagara too, I wanted to mention, are really deep characters too, that we just don't have a lot of information for yet. At least comparatively. But our opponent is Agni. Whether it's true or not, he at least pretends to be fair. There's no time for long explanations, so you two go on ahead. And, when you get the chance, find Cloche and Clofe. Right now, me being alone here would be the best choice. Okay, so is this a... I don't... Like, this could be taken two ways. Either Sagara is changing form as a form of deception, or this hasn't really been Sagara all along. This has been a body double pretending to be Sagara, and they're revealing their actual form. Like, I could take that two different ways. But either way, I'll have to wait a week. I'll have to wait to figure... Oh man, what a cliffhanger. I'll have to wait to figure it out next week. Like I said, I will prepare more for some review stuff. That way I can do some reviews the week after next. And yeah, then we'll just continue reading. Again, just because I'm doing reviews might not necessarily mean I'm not also doing a reaction. I might do both. We'll see what happens when we get to it. But at least for next week, it's going to be the read-through as usual, because I don't want to take a potential break in the middle of an arc. But yeah. Either way, I loved these chapters. I just think that Kubera is generally very, very, very good. It's just that it's very deep. There's a lot of things going on with a lot of characters and their relationships to one another. There's a lot in the lore to remember and try to connect together, and I'm gonna have to take my time to do that. Again, I'm only 80 chapters in. It's gonna take me some work to get the knowledge of Kubera that I have for something like Tower of God. But either way, I loved it. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of these chapters, my first thoughts and reaction to them. Subscribe for more Kubera, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it is free and open for anyone. Just ask and I can give you a link. We can talk there on Discord, on Twitter, down in the comments, wherever. If you want to help support the channel, you could drop a super thanks down below if you would like to. Or if you want to support the channel, get One Piece videos a bit early, get a shout out at the end of every video, would be greatly appreciated. And again, it helps me to continue to make videos. You can join down below to become a channel member. Go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you to people who are patrons and channel members already. Thank you so much. To Chosen Regular Evan Hawley, to Magical Girls Fr Nono, Smeller Dog and Abyss Knight, to Cherryton student David Langstaff, to Slayer candidates SG and Stan Cedar, and to Pure Element Pate Ardialol. Sorry, it feels like this whole time that I've been reading, maybe it's just dry in my house today. My mouth, I've been drinking so much water and just cutting it out of the video, and I still feel like my mouth is dry. But either way, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support, patrons and members. Thank you all so much for being here, and I'll see you all next time.